Hey, this is Giles, and I recorded another video. This is webcam format, all kind of ghetto YouTube style. I actually recorded another one with my new camera. Someone got me a camera for Christmas. Actually, my boss, my new boss, which was very nice. And it was a gigabyte. Uh, so I'm gonna make it shorter here because it was like a 10-minute video. Let's do the short version. Last year, around this time, I decided that, and blogged this decision, that I wasn't going to do a new language in 2009. There's a book called The Pragmatic Programmer, which, if you haven't read it, you really should. And it says that one thing you should do is learn a new language every year. And I said, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to build and deploy a mini app every month in 2009. Because I think, frankly, I've gotten pretty good at learning new languages, and I'm not a master, but I can do a lot of different languages. And I never really put a whole lot of time into deployment. Um, or, for that matter, it's been a long time since it had been a long time since I had put something together to actually get, people to use it. And I'd never really done that much of it. So this was my alternate experiment, and there were some failures and there were some successes, and it was a worthwhile experience. This year, I'm not doing a new language either. I'm not learning a new language. I'm not going to bother. Um, and it's funny because last year when I said this, I actually got some people on Twitter who were like, Giles Boquette is saying that you shouldn't bother to continuing education. And because people on Twitter, they like, I don't know what they like, but they do it all the time. Um, anyway, so to sort of head that kind of nonsense off, I thought I'd give you like the rationale here. Mmm, tasty. Okay, the whole idea of learn a new language every year is that you are a programmer. Programming is what you do. You are defined by being a programmer, by writing code. That is you, right? And it is a type of craft, and it requires craftsmanship. And in order to develop that in yourself, you learn a new language every year and thereby develop yourself as a programmer. Here's the problem I have with that. I see programming as one of the many things that I am, one of the many things I can do. Part of me believes that programming is just a type of literacy, right? It's like saying learn Italian so you can read books in Italian. You know, that's cool, but it might be the case that programming is just a type of literacy and that it shouldn't define you. It's just something that you have the capacity to do. And there's also something else. The Pragmatic Programmer, I believe, was written in 1995. Since 1995, in my opinion, venture capital has basically evolved itself into obsolescence. They basically created their own doom, right? Open source software and commodity hardware, plus cheap domains, there's really no need for venture capital anymore. There's a lot of people who are building web apps and running their own businesses and making good money and having good lives that way. And if you go on like programming Reddit or Hacker News or any of these Slashdot is a great one for this particular thing, you'll see an amazing amount of anger, unbridled, unreasoning, incoherent, incoherent anger throughout our field. And I think a lot of it has to do with the extraordinarily bad working conditions that many programmers face. And I think that you're either headed towards this kind of independent lifestyle of building a business in addition to writing code, or you're headed into that Dilbert hell. And I don't think that focusing on the craft of programming is a good idea. You want to learn it. You want to be really good at it. You want to learn a new language every 3 years, maybe. But it is so important to learn about deployment, to learn about creating stuff that people want, and to learn about businesses. And so what I'm thinking is no new languages in 2010, but at least one new business. And last year when I said no new languages in 2009, I started with a mini app in December of 2008. This year I started with a business that I launched in December of 2009. It's a consulting program teaching programmers how to get good jobs, how to keep themselves in the public eye, and so on and so forth. And I hope to have some interesting news to report in that soonish, I hope. Anyway, that's the plan. I'm not going to do it as arbitrarily as I did the mini apps thing. I set a goal of once a month, and that didn't quite happen. I'd say I probably only got 5 mini apps over 2009 total. And what I'm going to do for the businesses, I haven't actually figured out. I don't actually know what the structure is going to be. It might be a new business a month. I like that. It's so ridiculous, it's very appealing. It's so ridiculous I almost have to do it. But whatever it is, it's not going to be a new language every year, because if you're learning a new language every year, it will make you better as a programmer, but it won't make you better as anything else. And I'm not even trying to shoot down the pragmatic programmer, because I could get a lot better as a programmer if I were to really, put some time in and do these things, and that would be worth doing. But what I've decided to do instead, I think is interesting also. And I would love to see some people take me up on this and say that's what I'm going to do too. Imagine what it would be like if many, many people said, I'm going to do a small business every month. Launch a small business every month. Because a small business on the internet can be tiny. You could launch an Amazon store once a month. It could be done. A website selling an ebook once a month. So I think that's what I'm going for. And I'm not fully decided, but I'm going to have to decide soon. I've basically decided. And I don't have time to type it up as a blog post. So I just figured I'd put it out there. And there it is for now. So peace and Happy New Year. Peace. Happy New Year.